So at the moment, I'm living in Zurich, Switzerland, which compared to some cities I've lived in before, has some pretty sweet bike lanes. I moved flat at the beginning of summer. So I moved from this area, which is called Wiedikon, to this area, which is called Wiepkingen. And the distance between the two flats was 4.3 kilometers. I've moved flats before. I used to live in Glasgow, Scotland, and I lived there for 8 years and I moved every single year. This time I decided I would do it a bit differently and I decided I would move with a cargo bike. I did some research and found this awesome website called Carvelo to Go, which allows you to rent cargo bikes. And it's a super program that's all over Switzerland. So you kind of choose which town you're in, and then it allows you to see where the cargo bikes are located. So if we zoom in here, depending on where you live, you might want to go to a certain location to rent their bike. And these locations don't actually make money from this, it's just an exposure thing. So, for example, I rented mine from Café für dich. This is a cafe I hadn't heard about previously. So now I know that this cafe exists and it's awesome, and they have this bike that you can rent whenever you want, and you can see which model of bike it is. And then you click here if you want to rent the bike. The prices are really good for Switzerland. It's only 5 francs to book the cargo bike, and then 2 francs 50 for each hour that you use the bike. I basically booked everything through my phone and then had it booked for about 8 hours, I think, because I didn't know how long it would take me. And then I just went, they gave me the key, and I could use the cargo bike. In the end, it took me 5 return trips to carry all my stuff across those 4.3 kilometers. And I was sweating a lot. It was a really sunny day. I took the day off work, so I was basically having the time of my life, just cycling around the city, doing what I love best. I also really enjoyed moving with a cargo bike because, one, it was environmentally friendly. 2, I was supporting a local green initiative. 3, I was seeing the city during a workday and traveling through the city and enjoying this experience of really being embedded within the city for a day. And lastly, also just taking in how much I actually owned, because it was a real physical effort to carry all of my stuff across the city, even though it's a small distance, even though it was an electric bike, even though I don't have that much. It was still important to me to really physically feel how much I was carrying and how much I was moving with me. There are obviously disadvantages to this, namely, it takes a lot more time. It took me the whole day to move, whereas if I had rented a van, I could have done it in 2 or 3 hours. And the other thing is, it's okay to ask for help. I think I really wanted to do this on my own to show that I was cool, that I could do it with a bike. But actually, it's also really cool to be like, can you please help me? I've got to move. It's just, I think I've moved so many times in the past that I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to bother anyone. I don't know that many people in the city. I'm just going to do it on my own. But actually, the people I knew, they would have helped me. So that's also a major lesson learned. So that's it. Just let me know if you've got any comments or questions below. And otherwise, happy cycling.